it's Johara. Welcome back to my channel. I am here and I'm going to be giving you a writing update. So, uh, as you know, I've had like 3 stories I'm working on. Well, actually, you might not know that because I mostly talk about my Jasmine Press series. And so yeah, but so we're gonna start with this writing update. I'm going to talk about the 3rd book in Jasmine Press. The other day, I finally finished it. I still have to edit, but I finished the writing portion, so yay. I'm gonna start editing sometime this weekend, probably not tomorrow, because I will probably be on a sprint tomorrow, so I might not have much time to really edit, but Saturday I will definitely start the editing process, and it will be done by the end of the month so I can publish it, so yay. Um, and uh, and I pulled an all-nighter. I was literally up all night, and I finally finished it at like 7:30 in the morning. And I've never done that. Like, at least not that I can remember. I mean, even when I don't think I've ever done it. Because even when I was a baby, my mom told me that most babies, they wanted to be up all the time. They were constantly crying. Me, all I wanted to do was sleep. My mom said she had to literally wake me up just to feed me. So yeah, maybe so I guess I was always that kind of person that was like, no, I need my sleep. But now I'm a night owl and I want to stay up all night to sleep all day. But I was so focused on finishing that book that night that I ended up staying up all night. I did end up going to sleep at like 8:30, 8:30 ish, and in the morning, and sleeping until like 3 in the afternoon because I guess I needed sleep after being up all night working on my book. But I finished it and I gave it the perfect ending, and I love the chapter title for the last chapter, and the ending was just beautiful, and I'm so happy with how I edited it. I think I edited Jasmine Press story perfectly, and I just love that feeling when you feel like you edit a character's story perfectly, especially a character that means so much to you, a character that's been through so much and just deserves to be happy. And I think I finally gave her the happiness she deserves, and I'm just so happy, as you can probably tell, because I can't stop smiling now that I'm talking about it. But the prequel has been started. I started it not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, if even that. Um, so I'm not that far into it. I think I'm a few chapters into it. Um, but there's a scene in the 3rd book that kind of sets the tone for the prequel. It's kind of what the prequel's about. Um, I don't remember what chapter it is, but I know the chapter title is called "The Tale of Two Sisters." So if you do end up reading it, that's the title. That's the chapter that ends up setting a tone for the prequel, because it's talking about the legend of Rosemary and Lilac, and it kind of digs a little bit deeper in that, and then you learn even more about it from the prequel. So I was really happy with that, and I didn't even mean to do that, but it happened, and I was really happy with how that turned out. And then yeah. So, and then I also have another work in progress. It's my next series, which I may have talked about it once or twice on the channel. I'm not entirely sure, but there's like it's gonna be a really long series. But it's about witches, and there are covens. Whenever I tell someone about it, I say the coven witches and stuff. But honestly, the covens even aren't the most important part, because like after a few books, I don't think the covens are even at least from the ideas I have, the covens won't be spoken about again, because there'll be a lot more pressing issues going on. But thanks with the help from a few of my writer friends, I finally came up with the series name, because I knew what the first book's title would be. I don't know the other book's titles, but I have a few. When we were throwing back some ideas, there were some of them I liked for a book title, but not a series name, so I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. So I may use some of those for some of the future books, but I have plenty of time to figure out the other books' names as of right now. All that's important is knowing the name for the book title and the series. So the book title is called The Darkened Soul Coven, because there's a whole bunch of different covens, and Ruby's coven is called The Darkened Soul Coven, because they all have different names, so you know which coven is which. And the name of the series is called A Witch's Bond because it's about Ruby and Melinda. Ruby is a witch from the Dark Soul Coven. Obviously, she's the priestess of the coven. They, and her mom, Cassandra, is the high priestess. The high priestess of every coven has a high priestess and a priestess. The high priestess is the leader, and the priestess is the leader in training. They're training to take over the mantle someday, whenever it is their time. And Ruby and then so Ruby's been alive for centuries, and she knows everything there is to know about being a witch, but she doesn't exactly understand human terms, as most witches and warlocks do not. Um, and then Melinda comes from a family of humans. Her parents are humans, her best friends are humans, and the only people that know she's a witch are her two best friends, Alicia and Alex. Um, and she doesn't understand what it means to be a witch. She doesn't even have control of her powers at all. And the two of them end up meeting because of this prophecy that are about the two of them. And so Melinda, while they figure out what the prophecy means, Melinda has to teach Ruby how to fit in with the humans because Ruby kind of ends up running away. I haven't got to that point yet, but she ends up running away from her coven to the humans to find Melinda because she realized that the prophecy was important and that it needed to take a priority at the time. So she ends up leaving her coven and temporarily to find Melinda, and so Melinda ends up have to teach Ruby how to uh, live with humans and to kind of understand human terms so that she doesn't seem like a complete freak or outcast. And then Ruby has to teach Melinda to tap into her inner witch and to be able to finally control her powers and to understand what it means to be a witch. But this but I separated all my ideas I have for it for what's gonna happen in which book, and there's gonna be at least 10 books, maybe more, we'll see. But as of right now, there's a good 10 books in the story. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be a long series. But so uh, there's representation in there as well. There's some representation in my Justin Press series as well. Um, you find out that Jax is bisexual and Zeke is gay. So there's that. Um, but the representation will be more part of the storyline because it didn't really show much of the representation in Jazz and Prez until near the end of the last book, where you finally get into that a little bit. But this book, Melinda and Alicia are both lesbians. They both have, well, Alicia, I think I'm gonna make bisexual. I haven't exactly decided yet. I mean, I did mention that she had an ex-boyfriend, but a lot of lesbians had ex-boyfriends because, they didn't know they were lesbian at first. But I haven't actually decided if I'm gonna make her a lesbian or bisexual. But Melinda is gonna be lesbian, and the two of them have crushes on each other. And then Alex and Ruby both are asexual, which I was coming to terms with my own asexuality in the middle of my Jasmine Press series. I think I was in the middle of book 2. I think I was working on book 2 at some point when I was coming to terms with my asexuality. But from this point forth, I do want all my books to have some sort of asexual representation just because, there's hardly any at all in TV or books or anything because, you know, you just don't see it as often. And so from now on, I do want at least one character from every series to be asexual and dip into that a little bit. But this will be my first book with asexual representation, so I'm gonna get into it a little bit extra in this series. Um, like at the beginning, Alex is already acting weird. I mean, I guess he won't be acting weird to the audience because this is your first time meeting him, but but Melinda and Alicia both mentioned that hasn't been acting like himself because he's already struggling with the fact that he might be asexual and he hasn't come to terms with it yet. Um, But yeah, but Ruby is also going to be asexual, and but since she's centuries old and doesn't understand human terms, she doesn't exactly know what that means. So her and Ruby have to have a heart to heart after Ruby, or after Alex already had accepted it, and while Ruby's trying to process that she might be. So yeah, there's all that. But anyways, Jasmine Perez is done. I'm going to start editing, and I will um give you another update when I edit and publish it, which will be at the end of this month. So you can be looking forward to another update. And if I have any more updates for the prequel or the Darkest Soul Coven book, I will give you those updates in that video as well. Um, on the Darkest Soul Coven, I finished chapter 4 and started chapter 5. I'm at like 6,000, almost 7,000 words. So it's going pretty well. So that is all. Please like, subscribe, and comment your writing process. I would love to know. Um, and that is all. I will come back at you with another update soon and another video as well before the update because I have a couple video ideas in mind I've been meaning to. I just haven't got to yet. So I'm gonna try to do those sometime this week. And that is all. So I will talk to you guys later.